All right, everybody, let's start the forecast update, and hopefully my mouse don't freeze again because it's already froze 6 times, and I've had to restart the computer. So I'm hoping that it will cooperate for just a few minutes. So let's start out looking at our station outside. Currently, it is 51 degrees out. It's warmed up a good bit compared to what we've been, having the past few days. It's currently 51 degrees here at our station. We'll zoom it on out. Not seeing a lot of our stations up. Looks like 48 degrees around Geraldine, 51 around Five Forks. Let's zoom out a little bit more. We'll go on over to Marshall County. Albertville looks like they're close to 51, 52 degrees. 51 degrees looks like that's going to be east of Mountain View. We'll move on up here to Jackson County. And I am trying to go a little bit quick since this thing is freezing up on me. I don't want it to do that during the stream. 49 around Langston, so not too bad out there. The winds, they are going to continue to gust on up there. Looks like 23 miles per hour around Langston, so already getting some pretty good gust up there. Elsewhere, though, anywhere between, looks like our highest wind gust we've had was about 10 miles per hour, so not too bad down here in the south. Higher elevations have some higher wind gusts, so we'll move a little bit forward, looking at our Skycam outside, not seeing, a lot other than some clouds, a little bit of rain. We have had some rainfall here, just a little bit. So let's look at Doppler radar. We'll go ahead and get into that, seeing, lots of showers across the area, some heavier stuff around Huntsville to the south. All that continues to move on off to the east. Looks like 100% chance, 90 to 100% chance of some rain overnight. No big deal with any of that. So what we really need to get into is, are we going to get any snow or any ice? I know there's a lot of talk about that. Are we going to get it, or are we not going to get it? So let's look into that. National Weather Service Huntsville has put us under a winter storm watch. That's in effect 6 p.m. Friday to 6 p.m. Sunday. A lot of uncertainty still. North Alabama, ports of southern middle Tennessee, at least 1 to 3 inches of snow, sleet, or over 1/4 of an inch of ice. All possible. Be cautious traveling. Roads may be slick, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look. Like, what is the deal here? Why is everybody so uncertain? So basically, this is going to be it. Euro says the low moves further to the north, less or no winter impact in northeast Alabama. Just heavy rain, maybe some black ice. The GFS says the low will move further to the south, which will mean a higher threat for winter impacts in northeast Alabama. So let's just pretty much look what Huntsville's saying here. So the Winter Storm Severity Index, lower for DeKalb County, for moderate impacts. Minor impacts, that's rather high. So we could see some minor impacts from this still. Moderate impacts, still possible. That's on the lower threat, but it's going to depend on this low pressure, which way it goes. Let's look at the model guidance, basically, and just see, what is going on with all this mess. So let me go ahead and get that up, and we will talk about it and also check it out a little bit. So let's go ahead and get that up, and let's talk about what we got here. So let's run it on through. We got some rain right now. Now here's what the GFS is saying. So you see all that red there, that's freezing rain. The purple, sleet, snow further north, of course. GFS saying that. So looking like we get some of that according to the GFS, but note where that low pressure is at, further south. Now check that out, along the coast almost in southern Georgia, South Alabama. That's where it's wanting to say that low pressure is going to track, further south. That's the GFS's opinion on it. If it does that, we would get, a mess, basically. There'd be better chances of snow, better chance of sleet, better chance of freezing rain altogether. We would have a mess if it does track further low. Now, that's by the GFS. Let's take a look at the European, see what they're wanting to say about it. So let's bring that on up to the timeline. And look at this. You notice a big difference here. They're wanting to put all the heavier ice and stuff further to the northwest, northern Mississippi, north up in Tennessee, even bringing that snow threat further north. And Tennessee getting, pretty much a wintry mess up there. That's what the the European's showing. But note that low pressure here. Further north, and that's a pretty strong area of low pressure. So if it does track more north, more than likely we're going to see a lot of heavy rain, a lot of heavy cold rain, a lot of high winds too, because that area of low pressure is really close to us. So we'll see some very high gusty winds out of that. But you note that the snow and stuff pretty much stays north, northwest with that model there. So what exactly is causing this? Well, let's look at the European's opinion on it. And the European, typically a lot more, accurate than the GFS, I ain't going to lie. So when you're hearing nose, I know a lot of people have been asking, what on earth are you guys talking about by a nose of warm air? Basically right here, as you see, it looks like a little, almost like a little nose, little arrow right here of warmer air. And that's surging north. That'll be due to that low pressure tracking further north. It brings some warmer air up north with it and keeping most, as you can see, it's pushing out pretty much those colder temperatures from coming in. And that would cause a problem. But the temperatures do eventually move in, and when they do, it is going to be brutal. We're talking lows in the teens, even single digits as we get into Monday. The Arctic air is going to make it here. Now let's look at the GFS opinion on that, break it down a little bit more here. So here's the GFS. Again, we'll run it through with the temperature and everything. As you can see, wanting to keep the low pressure further south, little bitty nose of warm air, and mostly the colder air hanging out here. If that scenario happens, then you're going to be glad you did, stock up and prepare. Either way, you're going to be glad you prepared, especially if this scenario happens. So let's look at as far as that goes, let's take a look at as far as, snowfall, all that stuff. We'll look at that really quick. We'll just go ahead and do a 24-hour snowfall totals. And of course, there is one thing that the GFS and European do have, a lot of agreeing on, and that's the snow. Wanting to keep all that snow threat around Huntsville, further north and further northwest. That's by the GFS. Now let's look at the European, which is usually the one that we use the most. Let's see what it says. Well, I got to tell you, they've changed again since I last looked. European wanting to send that snowfall threat way north, northwest, even further away from Tennessee, with Tennessee maybe getting 2-3 inches northwest portions. Basically, it's just a mess. So not only are you guys frustrated and angry and all that, but we're also frustrated and angry. It's very frustrating when these models do stuff that is so unpredictable. But as mentioned, basically, this is going to be what determines, whether we get anything or not. Would pretty much be that low pressure. See if I can't get that back up again. Really quick, give me just a second. So this is going to be the determination here on what we get. Low pressure goes further north. We get some ice, maybe, some, black ice, low impact scenario, mostly just cold rain and wind. If it tracks further south, we get more snow, more ice, more wintry, altogether just mess, a big mess if it does track further south than what the European is saying. So that's going to be what divides this out. Whether we get a lot or a little, it'll be up to that low pressure system until it tracks in and we know exactly where it's going. We don't have a clue what it's going to do right now. So that's pretty much all I can say about it, to be honest. We really don't know. We're waiting to see where that low pressure tracks. So let's go ahead and wrap it up here with Mr. Dylan Snyder, our sponsors at Alabama Living Real Estate. For all your real estate needs, you can give him a call at 256-979-4330 and check him out on Facebook. And also, if you're looking to buy a vehicle, your new dream car, give RKG Automotive Group a call. You can call them at 256-323-7323 and check them out on Facebook. And also, last sponsor here will be if you need kitchen work, bathroom work, countertops, more, you can give them a call. That will be Southern Hospitality Kitchens. You can call them at 256-418-5708. So let's get ready to wrap it up, and we will look at the comments here. I hope that helped explain it for everybody. I know a lot of the meteorologists are just completely calling out that this is not going to do nothing. So, hey, the confidence is looking higher on the European side of things, but there's always that possibility that it goes with the GFS side of things too. We just don't know yet. So let's look at here. Good evening. I'm glad you got notified, Christy Hanley. Thanks so much for watching. Jeanette Waldrop, thank you. Christine Lane, how's the woods? How in the woods or look out in Sand Mountain? Well, pretty much what I said. We're just waiting on that low pressure right now. See what it's going to do. Lori Moran, thank you for keeping us updated. No problem. Thanks for watching. Angelia Overton, thank you. No problem. Zoe, how's Sand Mountain looking? Pretty much same difference. I mean, it's going to depend on whether this low pressure goes further north or south. National Weather Service wants everyone to make sure we do have enough food and water just in case the road ends up closed if we do lose power. Thanks, Brandy. That's exactly right. Brandon Westbrook, hope a lot. I know I would like to see a decent snow. I've not seen very many in my life, and I'm 30, so not very. I would love to see a good snow, but I'm out on the ice, so we don't need none of that. Thanks for watching here, Charlene Venable. Hello, thank you. And no, we don't need bad weather there. I hope I say your name right. Phobe Epps. If I say your name wrong, I'm sorry. That can be. But thanks for watching. John Shea, thank you. No problem. William Taylor, White, Roll Tide. That's right. Well, hey, y'all have a blessed evening. We will keep you updated. I mean, I'm trying my best to keep a sensible approach. I'm trying to keep it in the middle so that we don't have too much leaning one way, too much leaning another at this point. I want everybody to stay prepared. That's one thing for sure. And yeah, I never seen the 93 snow. I never did. But this system, according to the models we've seen, would have been a textbook perfect system. Like it would have been a perfect winter storm. Like it's not something you hear a lot of, honestly. Textbook, you don't hear that very much. So yeah. Yeah, thanks, Brandy. Appreciate that. The possibility of heavy ice is going to determine so much on the track of the low pressure. We just don't really know, honestly. If it's leaning more likely that we will have nothing but just some heavy rain, gusty winds off that low pressure, maybe some black ice. But my next concern is going to be that cold air coming in behind all this. You know, is there going to be enough moisture left over to cause some ice problems? If scenario one does go through, the Euro, saying that the low track's further north, I still say that we could have some ice threats here. I really do. I don't believe all that moisture will be off the roads and off the trees and stuff in time, to not freeze. So that's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but that's just what I'm thinking about it. But we'll watch it. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a great evening. It's 5:21. We'll see you on the next video. Take care. God bless.